So let's talk about suffering. Suffering is a very important concept when it comes to awakening and enlightenment. All awakening or enlightenment traditions have some aspect of suffering in their starting point, or in some traditions till you become fully awakened or fully enlightened. So, what is suffering? Suffering is usually interpreted as a past or future pain projected to the present moment. So, there's a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is whatever that is going on right now if it hurts you. And if you're worried about something that might happen in the future, like I might run out of money, or something would happen to my business, something negative would happen to my business, something negative would happen to my children or myself or my parents. If you are thinking about that in this moment, this is psychological pain of something that is not real, something that has not happened and probably will not happen. And that we usually say suffering. And there's also suffering we bring from the past, where we would think of something good that happened, but it is not happening anymore, so we would suffer through that, or something that happened in the past and we would think about it now, and we would say why that happened to me, why it is possible, why am I not good enough for that not to happen. So then that is future and past projection to this moment, and you are living through something that is not happening now, but having pain because of that. So this pain is psychological pain, and we usually call that suffering. But if you consider that to be suffering, then what about the things that are going on now that brings you joy? Things are not pain. You're with a set of friends and you're enjoying a good meal, cracking jokes. That is not suffering. So what about some enjoyable event you're doing? Maybe you're engaged in a game and you're winning. So that is not suffering. Or what about events in the future that you are looking forward to experience, and you're thinking about it now and you're thinking about the experience that you'll have in the future? That is not suffering, that is quite joyful. What about good stuff that you have done in the past and you're remembering them? Oh, I'm really happy that I was able to help this guy. They're doing very well now. So that is not suffering. So then can we say life is suffering, or life is sometimes suffering? Well, one observation that people brings is like even the stuff that is good, the good meal, the good conversation, the relationships you have with your friends, the people that you have around, they tend to deteriorate and comes to an end. Bad stuff are bad, and good stuff deteriorate and comes to an end, and that is bad. So that is another aspect of looking at suffering. So that is, let's call it the second level. The first level of suffering, as we discussed, is there's some suffering and there's some good, and next level is there's some suffering and there's some good that we experienced eventually turns into suffering, and eventually it comes to an end. But then you can bring the argument that what about some suffering that comes to an end, and then we find other things to do that is fun and enjoyable. Okay, I will get old, but then I would have friends who would play other games with me. So, and that is something I can look forward to have. Or I would retire and then, I engaged in other trades, or I would teach young people the things that I have learned, and then they would also have a better experience of life. So, there are other ways you can approach the some suffering or the future projected future pain, and you can think around that. However, the second level of suffering is a good start for many people. First level of suffering is also a good start for a lot of people. A lot of people get into religion or religious activities and also decide that they want to experience some sort of awakening because they are experiencing tremendous amount of real or in the present moment pain, or psychological pain, projected pain from past or present. So that is a good reason to get into awakening. A better reason would be realizing the deteriorating nature of things and ending nature of things. Things tend to deteriorate and things tend to end. However, the suffering, as far as I can tell you, referred to in Theravada, Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism is the persistent nature of suffering that exists in your life. Now, this is not something a lot of people experience because, as I said, people have joyful moments, people have happy moments in their life. So, you have to think around that and see the end of that for you to experience some sort of suffering for these joyful moments, like joyful moments come to an end. However, the reverse logic can apply to sad things, like sad things also comes to an end. So then the true nature of suffering, that fundamental level they talk about, is a persistent layer of suffering that you go through even though you are experiencing a different emotion at that time. Now, this is not an experience a person would have unless they are awakened. So it sounds like a chicken and egg situation. So for me to know the truth of that statement, I need to have believed it in, achieved it. However, there are other ways. I wouldn't say easier ways, but there are other ways. So one experience that would give you this sense is second dhyana state. If you do a samadhi meditation that we teach is luminous meditations. It is intent for you to get started on samadhi and also to go into deeper levels of samadhi. So if you do this or any other samadhi meditation, and if you manage to reach the second dhyana state, the second dhyana state is where you are experiencing joy and comfort, and also you are not disturbed by stuff that is happening from outside. So this is Priti, Sukha and Ekagrata in Pali. So when you are in that state, you notice that even your joyful moments had been having this underlining suffering in that moment, underlining pain that was constantly present. It had been less joyful because of that. So that is something that one cannot explain. So we cannot use words to explain. We can tell it is there, but you will have to experience that by reaching that state, like the second dhyana state. So third and fourth dhyana states are not that conducive to understanding this phenomenon because it's mostly equanimity that is the focus on those states, and another state, that is another dhyana state that will be useful, is the ninth dhyana state. But if you're going to ninth dhyana state, you'll be passing through the second. So the ideal is for you to reach the second dhyana state. So I'm not saying anybody can easily experience that, but with practice you can experience that, and then you would know what this suffering everybody who is in awakening path is so aware about. So, and the suffering that they're trying to overcome. So it's not the suffering, that the pain that you're experiencing, it's not really the psychological pain. They're part of it. Psychological pain, the physical pain, psychological pain, and the projected pain due to the deteriorating and ending nature of things. These are permanent natures, like everything. Like if you look at myself, there was a time that my beard was much, I wouldn't say, let's say less gray, and had better skin. Now I think it shows the old age somewhat. So and this is the deteriorating nature of things. And if you know me, and if you knew when I was young, and you would see the difference, and it might make you feel sad, it might not. And if you don't know me, it wouldn't affect you at all. But if you project that to somebody that you love, or somebody that you care, and then you would realize that, oh my God, this person is eventually going to die, and we will not live together. And you might also project it as one of us would die first, and the other person would have to live only with the memories. So it might evoke some emotion. So this is the second type of suffering that you can experience and that you become aware. And the third type we talked about is the ever-present suffering, that you are not aware because for you it is normal, and you can experience only when you go to special states of your mind, like either the second or the ninth samadhi states or dhyana states. So hope this was useful. uh, just because you can't experience something now doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If you want to experience something, you have to create a different life situation for you to experience that, to know that. So just because something is not in your present awareness, you can't tell it is not there. So because there are other ways to know that. Hope you learn something. Hope it is useful for you. And if you are in awakening path, uh, we are happy to talk to you and see how we can add value to you. We do 2 meditations. Luminous meditation is for you to develop samadhi states. We believe at least the first and second samadhi states, this first and second dhyana, is very useful for you to get into the awakening meditations. Awakening meditations and dhyana meditations, they're different. So I will do another video either today or in a later date about vipassana, awakening meditation, and I would compare vipassana with the work that we do, and why I prefer the meditation that we do over vipassana. So that's a different discussion. But emphasis is vipassana is not samadhi inducing meditation. So it's awakening meditation, and so there's a difference between them. So can dhyana meditations bring awakening? Good question. I would do another video answering that particular situation. Is dhyana meditation available in other religions? Like is dhyana meditation available in Sufism? Is dhyana meditation available in Christian traditions? Well, yes, but they don't call it dhyana, they don't call it samadhi. And but some initial work that they do does involve you eventually figuring out how to get into a samadhi state of your mind, so that you can then do the awakening meditation. So these kind of things we do discuss in our awakening meditation training. So if that is something that you are interested on, if you are seriously interested on non-religion based awakening, non-religion based enlightenment, you are welcome to talk to us, and then we can explore. Of course, we have a learning path. You need to have finished luminous meditations, that is samadhi meditations, and be able to reach samadhi states for you to get into the awakening meditation training with us. So I look forward to talk to some of you. Have a blessed day. I'm Gamkashri, meditation teacher, coach, and trainer at Mind Designs International. Jai Shri.